Okay, I had some issues and that is why I needed to pause this stream. Okay, let me just share once the same link. Mm, Okay, so we just paused, and those who are coming new, I am showing my new manga, Midlife Saga, and let's continue talking about Oppenheimer. My honest opinion on Oppenheimer movie. First of all, we need to know about who is Robert J. Oppenheimer, and this is totally bullshit. I don't believe that 3.8 is good rating. For me, it is almost 4.1. It is public audience review though, and 4.1. It is absolutely one of those best movies from Christopher Nolan's, which so politics, philosophy, psychological themes, and how you need to pay with your life and reputation for gaining something, for gaining some fame, and what is the cost of fame. And the casting, man, I really can't believe that every single actor was phenomenal in their roles. Like, I believe especially Rami Malik. I will be talking later on who is David Hill and what was his significance during the court trials against Oppenheimer, and what is the actual significance of Louis Strauss, but not in this stream. This is mostly spoiler free. If I give you guys spoiler about the real history, that will be a little bit awkward. I will be talking about the spoilers tomorrow, but not today. So Cillian Murphy, first talking about Cillian Murphy, man, Cillian Murphy surely deserves Oscar. From my end, it is totally my opinion because I have watched Brandon's acting the last year in the Whale movie, and it was decent, not too much I will be saying, but yeah, it was good, and still he got Oscar. And in this case, Cillian Murphy was absolutely out of the box, man. I will be saying he was, man, he just crossed all his limits in this one. This is most probably the best work of Cillian Murphy in his career. Florence Pugh's acting was good, and his role was actually short and important also, according to J. Robert Oppenheimer's perspective, and especially Robert Downey Jr. Man, how phenomenal actor he is. He just broke his stereotypes of Iron Man, and I know he's a great actor before even playing Iron Man, but he had some issues in his personal life. You guys know what happened to him. And in this role, man, every dialogue, the throwing, the um, acting, facial expression, everything showed how much rage he has for Robert Oppenheimer. In even he was not like feeling like he was acting, it was like he has some special like grievance towards Cillian Murphy, it felt like. But yeah, apart from joking, man, he's phenomenal. Emily Blunt, especially, she played the role of Oppenheimer's wife, and a connection and a chemistry between Cillian Murphy and Emily Blunt was beautiful, man, beautiful. It was classic, man. I will be saying this was the best couple I have seen so far in Christopher Nolan's movies. Um, Man, Christopher Nolan never misses with anything, human connection and all those things. And Jack Quaid, I will be saying Richard Feynman role was a little bit blunt, but yeah, his acting still was very good. Like the very little he could contribute to the story, but still it was good. And Matt Damon actually broke his stereotypes from last few movies. Like he was a little bit disappointing in the few movies last. I will be skipping Rami Malik. I will be talking about him later on in the spoiler review. And apart from that, yeah, David Daxmalchian, man, he played the role of Stiller, who actually invented. If you guys don't know who was Stiller, and just let me show who actually invented uh, hydrogen bomb. Edward Taylor. Yeah, not Taylor. I was wrong pronouncing his name. And Edward Taylor. Yes, Edward Taylor was so great scientist or physicist, but yet he had some problems with Robert Oppenheimer because Robert Oppenheimer was continuously disregarding his concept of hydrogen. Actually, that was a little bit problematic in the aspects of World War II also, because in that time uranium was more famous than deuterium, and these are actually science concepts. So you guys most probably those who belong to science they can understand, but those who have not read chemistry or physics they will have a little bit hard time to understand these things. But yeah, the actor, man, he was so good in this role. And other than that, every single actor and actress and especially Tom Conti in the role of Albert Einstein was also good. And I can't remember who actually. Okay, no, sorry, David Desmalchian didn't play the role of Edward Taylor. It was Benny Safdie. I was a little bit wrong about this. I hope that this cast. Where is Klaus Fox? Let me see that. Actually, I was a little bit nervous about wherever they will be showing Klaus Fuchs, because Klaus Fuchs' character is little bit controversial. Not little bit, it is totally controversial between Russia and USA, because Klaus Fuchs was the scientist who actually slipped all information from USA, the Manhattan Project's all secret data to USSR later on in 1951, I guess, as much as I can remember. And after that, actually, the trials against Robert J. Oppenheimer were done, because USA had some like they actually were doubting that Robert J. Oppenheimer might have been some communist ideologies in his prior life, so he had might have slipped information with Klaus Fuchs. Like he was the one to actually inspire Klaus Fuchs to do all these things. But yeah, everyone, every single actor and actress, I believe that Christopher Nolan can only do this, like putting all these super casting and everyone delivering it beautifully. And man, then I will be talking about cinematography. Christopher Nolan actually showed us that in a biography you can also portray so much deep philosophical themes and simple storyline. Look, the story is adapted from history, so there was nothing to play with it. Still, he crossed the boundaries of storytelling, and actually, I will be saying this is the finest biography I have ever seen, because Oppenheimer had a controversial life. He was a complex character. He was complicated. He had so many dilemmas going on inside his head. Still, the storytelling was simple so that general audience can connect to the characters more. When you have a more complex character, you need to be like making the story simpler so that people can connect, people can understand the characters, they can they more concentrate towards the character building, not the story building. Like take example of Vinland Saga. Vinland Saga has a generally simple story. I will not be saying there is politics and all things, but it has not that much of time travel or complicated storyline like Steins Gate, what Steins Gate had. But when you have a complex storyline, you have a difficult time to build communication between characters and audience. But when you have a simple storyline, it is generally a easier job. And when Christopher Nolan is doing this, I can bet you he did it in Dark Knight, he did it in Dunkirk, He also did it in Prestige, and same goes for Oppenheimer. After Prestige and Dunkirk, I will be saying Oppenheimer is his career's best direction. Like, man, it is so beautiful. Even I will be saying Oppenheimer surpassed the levels of Dunkirk. Dunkirk was simple. I will not be saying Dunkirk was out of the world, but Oppenheimer is actually out of the world, in my opinion, because I went to see this movie with my mom, and she herself appreciated the direction of Christopher Nolan because it was her first time to watch Christopher Nolan movie. He had no experience of Christopher Nolan's any movie prior to this movie. Still, she had a very good time in the theater. Just let me check the comment section out. People will be like saying, Tetsu, you are not, Tetsu, you are not communicating with the chat. Uh, okay, yo, it's deserve an easy 4 star. Yeah, 4.1. What was your favorite moment? Why do you think the soundtrack? Yeah, I will be talking about the soundtracks, man. This is the finest movie of Christopher Nolan which has most beautiful soundtracks. Like whenever Oppenheimer was having dilemmas, so much string theories going inside his head, connecting dots, man, music was giving goosebumps, literally goosebumps. You can go to any theater. Like I didn't watch it in IMAX 3D. Sorry, IMAX. I never went to IMAX. I watched it in PVR, but still, it was so good, man. Hi bro, how are you doing? I won't be able to watch today's stream due to exam. Okay, okay, okay. Best of luck. Have a good exam and join tomorrow. We'll be having a good stream. And I privated the last stream because of some issues. I will be re-uploading it because I have to edit something, and then I will upload it again. And yeah, man, music was so good. And the final scene, the final conversation between Einstein and Oppenheimer, that was so much thought provoking. If it come, if not if it will be coming on like OTT platform. When it comes to OTT platform, I will be definitely buying it, whatever it is costing, and man, I will be like watching the movie again and again. It is my favorite movie from this year so far, and I hope there are no more films that can surpass the levels of Oppenheimer. Because of my little bit biases towards World War II and atomic project, because I belong to science stream and I read a lot of books on World War II and atomic projects, and I really love this, man. I really love this. I The moment when Zillard, big scientist Enrico Fermi, Niels Bohr were on screen, it gave me goosebumps because they made my fundamental understanding of physics, chemistry, and all those formulas which I had to remember in my class 7, 8, even after taking science in my engineering days, quantum physics. I have a very deep enthusiasm towards astrophysics as well. But man, it's out of the box. And also, I will be saying this movie has a very good reference to Interstellar, because this movie sometimes teases black hole. I am not sure whether Oppenheimer used to have interest in astronomy, but yeah, I will be saying this was a good reference to Interstellar's events, because they were talking about death of a star, black hole, gravitational pull, crunch, and everything, man. Okay. Bro, for me, it was when the Oppenheimer was trying to cancel the second bombing, and tension that was built with the soundtrack was so good. For me, the best moment in this movie, it will be for me the last climax moment between Einstein and Oppenheimer, the conversation. Man, that conversation, I will not be spoiling the whole experience of you, because it is very much important for the story. Whatever is seen in this movie actually justifies at the ending that whatever happened to Robert J. Oppenheimer was actually prior predicted by the great Einstein. And yeah, some people are being offended because of Bhagavad Gita scene. Actually, no, I am saying that Bhagavad Gita scene is shown twice, so people are only targeting one scene. But if you consider the real scene, where actually in real life also, I don't know whether they were actually talking about Bhagavad Gita in that scene, which you are talking about. But I guess the real scene after the Trinity testing, actually, Robert J. Oppenheimer talked about it. So now I have become Death, the destroyer of the world. So I believe that the second one actually fits the story more, and the first one, it's a little bit controversial, but I think we should respect an our director's point of view, because a director should have some creative liberty also. If you don't like it, you can criticize it, but in my opinion, it was fine, fine in my opinion, because actually Florence Pugh's character Jean Tatlock was never Robert J. Oppenheimer's girlfriend. I mean wife. She was like a side one always, and she was not side one. I am not disrespecting. Actually, Robert J. Oppenheimer had deep love for her. He proposed her twice in real life, but she always declined it. But still, they had physical relationship. But I believe that. I don't know whether Jean Tadlock in real life had interest for Indian culture and Bhagavad Gita, but being she was, I guess, Jean Tatlock in real life was psychiatrist or something like that. She's Jean Tatlock, yeah, psychiatrist, American psychiatrist. So being a psychiatrist, you need to read about psychology, and you know, the Bhagavad Gita is one of the best psychological and philosophical book out there. So maybe she read about it, but the interpretation, like they were, you know, when they showed it, I don't know it was real or not. But we should respect the director's point of view towards the story, and more, like you guys know, Western people have more adaptability towards physical things, and where things are more like 18 plus, so they can adapt it more good in a good way. If it was shown more like blunt way, people would have not recognized it. So I will be saying it is, in my opinion, it was fine, not too much like something else. It could have been great. uh, if I was the director, I am not saying I am better one than Christopher Nolan. I respect his point of view. If I was a director, I would have punched it during the atomic bomb scene. I would have punched that line. Man, it would have given me more goosebumps. So this is my point of view totally, and those people who got offended, they will be offended in anything sold about India. They, first of all, they complain that Western culture will not show anything about Indian culture, and when they actually show, then people will complain that they didn't portray it in a good way. So you can avoid those people actually. And Jean Tatlock, it is about Jean Tatlock, and yeah, this was my overall review about Oppenheimer. There can be a little bit spoiler on this story. And Jason Clark, I was actually thinking where I seen him. I guess I have seen him in Terminator. He played the role of John Connor, I guess. Yeah, Terminator Genesis. I told, I was actually talking to my mom that I have seen this guy somewhere else in some movies. I could not recognize, but now I can recognize. And this, then Dehan, you guys can recognize him in Amazing Spider-Man 2. He was the villain, like he was Green Goblin, I guess. So this is the thing. We can understand that, and this movie is the finest movie this year. And man, I can say anything wrong about this. My experience was so good. My experience was not stretched, like people are talking that this movie is 3 hour 10 minutes long, the story feels stretched. No man, you are watching a biography. What can you else expect from Christopher Nolan? Adapted every single part of Robert J. Oppenheimer's life, else than the childhood. Let's go, King. Yeah, thanks. Full support to you, King, also. And one thing I also want to talk about, Einstein and Robert J. Oppenheimer, they actually had different thoughts about. They actually had different thoughts about the atomic bomb. You know, you guys might not know, but Einstein wrote twice letter to Roosevelt once to Roosevelt and once to, after his death, wrote to Truman. And Truman actually was more political person than Roosevelt. I hope that if Roosevelt was the president of US in 1945, they never nuked Japan in any cost. But it was Truman, you guys know. His hands are actually bloody. So yeah, what I was talking about, that Einstein had different views about atomic bomb, and Robert J. Oppenheimer had different views. But in my opinion, uh, there is a saying, you guys know, iron surface iron. They actually shared their overviews to the atomic bomb. With time to time, they used to talk about this. They had separate views, but they still had good terms. This shows the maturity of people. When whenever you guys have different views, it doesn't mean you have to quarrel. You have to like shut the fuck out of their mouth and be like, stop talking to me or something. You guys can end it in a middle ground, and that was between Einstein and Robert J. Oppenheimer. And this shows how much diplomatic a person can be, how much intellectual you can be. I guess I can say that Oppenheimer is a fictionalized story of J. Robert Oppenheimer, just like how Vagabond was sold. Uh, mm, in my opinion, it is not fully fiction. Some scenes are fiction, you can say, especially the controversial ones. Actually, before 1939, whatever happened to Oppenheimer was literally shadowed by himself, because he had a controversial political ideology, communism. So he wanted not to people talk more about his prior life before the project started in 1939. So it is, so that is why I am not talking that the movie's whole fiction. It was 30% fiction till Florence Pugh's character. I hope you can understand. After the atomic model project, everything was adapted fine. Like, it was real history. I have read the books, and it is 100% adaptation from the history. So it is not fiction after the project started. But before the project started, I never heard about these controversies. I knew that he had some communist ideology, but I never knew that these kind of things, like about, even not about Tatlock, all those things. I read these about just today, and I have to read more books about Robert J. Oppenheimer from now on, because I never knew about his girlfriend, um, like before his marriage. Yeah. Have you seen the King of Comedy? Let me see. King of Comedy. Whose movie is this? I guess I have seen this one by. No, 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 no. I have not seen this one. I guess this is a Chinese movie. Yeah. No, I have not seen this one. Uh, because Oppenheimer reading Bhagavad Gita was self interest. Yeah, actually, it was self interest. So what I said, the characterization of Tatlock was for me a little bit fictional, because Tatlock was controversial herself also, because she committed suicide. You guys know, I guess. Uh, I don't know, my stream will be blocked or not for saying this. I will be cropping this part if it gets blocked. But yeah, she committed suicide. And man, I hope that people more talk about Tatlock later on, after like Oppenheimer movie, because she had some really dark past and dark life. And also, I believe that she never committed suicide because of Robert J. Oppenheimer's denial to help her. It was her personal issues. She had been suffering from PTSD, I guess, or serious kind of depression. Let me see. That's right. Okay. And this is it. I hope. I mean, this is a perfect adaptation with a bit of fiction. Yeah, what I was talking about. A bit of fiction. You can say that. She had Communist Party. Like, you can say he had connection with Communist Party, and she was the one actually to influence Robert J. Oppenheimer more towards communism, which actually led to more troubles in the future for Robert J. Oppenheimer. But whatever, Robert J. Oppenheimer had very much controversial life himself. And this movie after all shows that fame comes with a great cost, and the last scene actually justifies the whole movie. Whatever happened to Robert J. Oppenheimer in his whole life, and this is a legendary tribute to Einstein, that he was a goat. He was the real goat. He could predict future, and he predicted future numerous times for every scientist. I guess about Enrico Fermi also, that his theory of Fermi paradox will get viral about aliens in the future, or a black hole, or whatever, like space 3D 4D models. Man, Einstein was good, really good. One thing I just want to show you guys, that Oppenheimer real life, Robert J. Oppenheimer's real life. I just want to show one thing from Wikipedia. They are showing that he had childhood. They had some Jewish connection. He was born into a non-observant Jewish family, and he had Jewish connection. That is why he was influenced to help refugees a lot in Germany. And he had his personal life is very much well discovered in the movie, discussed in the movie very well, and that is why it takes a slow progression, like 3 hours and 10 minutes. It is not stretched. His life was like this, so Christopher Nolan had nothing to do. And scientific word, yeah, yeah, this pick is goated, man. This pick is goated because they had different ideologies, still they work together, they talk together. And actually Einstein never wanted to be a part of atomic project for this reason. He wanted to promote peace. He wanted not to world to be lead towards the direction, and that Oppenheimer later on understands the value of peace. Whatever he did, his shoulders were heavy with the killings. He was a mass murderer. Whatever Truman said, he cry baby or something, Truman knew that a person who made the bomb will always suffer from these guilts. Whoever dropped it, that doesn't matter, man. I made it, I know the reality now. And Truman was a politician, man. We can't expect anything good from a politician. That is the fact, actually. He had a very much controversial life. And the most tragic part about his life, you guys know what is. Everyone else than Robert J. Oppenheimer got Nobel after this project and before this project. And they were never declared the father of atomic bomb. Robert J. Oppenheimer got the title of father of atomic bomb, but he never got Nobel Prize because of his controversial past and life. Tragic, man. There is a huge cost of fame. He had to sacrifice his fame, his reputation for getting the title of father of atomic bomb. I mean, this is a okay. Nobody is talking, and I hope that our stream is almost about to end because we have talked about everything. I guess more than everything we had to talk because man, this movie is so good. We need to. I will recommend you guys a book on Robert J. Oppenheimer. I just wrote books on Oppenheimer. Yeah, this one. I guess this one. Yeah. The book name is Robert J. Oppenheimer Letters and Recollection. Okay, book by Robert J. Oppenheimer. He himself wrote this in which year I can't remember. But you guys can actually read this book. This book is actually good for understanding Robert J. Oppenheimer more, his personal life. He was never something like different from other scientists. He was actually, there were many scientists who were better than Robert J. Oppenheimer, but still he is in talk because of his controversial things. He was intellectual, he was diplomatic, he was very good in politics. He knew what politics was against him. He tried to like contradict with a big person like Truman or Louis Strauss, who could have destroyed him, but still he knew what was the consequences. His wife actually predicted it all, but he was like a person who gambled with his life to make the bomb. uh, yeah, that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this stream, and also I'm again showing my manga, those who are watching it, and this is my first in hand manga to actually talk. Sorry, and let me show the real man actually. Yeah, this is the manga I bought today, and yeah, man, this manga is so good. Villain Saga. I mean, this is the finest manga I have ever read till date after Vagabond and Berserk. Obviously, all people will be saying that. Tetsu, you are saying that it is more massive than Berserk and Vagabond. No, it stands with Berserk and Vagabond, and you guys can see the page quality. Actually, it is good. It is quite good. I never expected that I will get this kind of good adaptation. Like, and yeah, okay. For now, we are ending this stream. I hope everyone enjoyed. Drop a like if you guys enjoyed, and please subscribe. You guys know that those who are coming from Instagram, those know that Instagram shadow banned me already. So please drop a like and support whatever you guys can do. And yeah, good night for now. And